But I'm really struggling with the weight that they want, or you need, not want, to put in, so it's not a tail sitter. So I put some in here. I've managed to hack a piece of lead that fits in there, but that's 10 grams. You're supposed to get 25 grams in there. That's impossible with lead, and lead's pretty dense, so I'm not sure what else can be heavier than lead. Gold. So I'm thinking I'm going to put some sinkers in each nacelle, and because the nacelle is just forward of the gear bay, I'm hoping that's going to work. What I'm going to do, I think, is I will dry fit it together and with the lead in there, and then do the old balancing act. I can see there's a problem there already. To check in here, there's a gap. Something to do with that bulkhead. Alright, anyway, it's not my problem at the moment. And dry fit the wings, and I'll have to dry fit the tail. A lot of bloody rigmarole, but because I couldn't get, I think I was like 2 grams short of what they said you need in there, so I need to make that up. So with these, if it works in the nacelles, that takes it. I needed 25, all that will take it to 42, so I'm well over, so it'll definitely not be a tail sitter, but I need to dry fit it to make sure that that's forward enough to keep it on its gear properly. So the lead in the nacelles appears to work. So I'll go with what I mentioned earlier. So at the moment I'm putting in a wash. Bit of a job because it's got so many ribs and corrugation, I guess, inside it. It's massive. So I'm just doing a bit at a time, gradually working through it. So I'm using enamel wash. This is Ammo Mig's dark wash. Just really, that's the only, in this brand is really the only brownish colour I got. Otherwise I've got black. Black's a bit too much. And I do have, I like this one, but this bottle's pretty old, and sometimes I have trouble removing it, the excess. So I thought I'll play it safe and use this one. It's pretty new. So the usual, just applying it with this brush, letting it dry off a bit, and then a clean brush with so it doesn't really matter, white spirit of any sort. This one just happens to be A. Toulon's brand, odorless thinner, just to clean it up. And like we've mentioned earlier in the build, you're not seeing much when it's closed up, but I'm going to take some photos of it before I put it together, so I've got a memory of it. But you will be able to see bits and pieces going through the looking through the windows and the hatches. That's the other thing I'm also doing. I've just primed up, so I need to put the hatches or doors for the gunner, which, because I'm having it open, I have to paint them up and glue them in before I close the fuselage, and I have to do there's one for the floor as well. So because they're inside, I have to put the window in as well, so I have to paint both sides. Once I get them in and I'm finished with this wash, you can go together. Oh, that, when I mentioned I had issue with the fit on the top, it was because it's almost, it's just about spot on. It's because you got these, the oxygen bottles were hitting here, so I've had to thin that down. That was what was fouling it from going together. Alright, now I'm getting somewhere. Alright, the fuselage is together. Pretty good fit. Wasn't perfect. I had to manipulate here and there to get it to click together properly. The front went together. It's shorter, I guess, but so next I'll be gluing this in. And it looks like good fit, all flush. Might need a smidge of perfect plastic putty on the other side there, but the main thing is it's flush with the, so that all the panels on that is flush with that. That's the main thing. You don't want steps. So that looks good. I've put the lead weights in, and obviously I've glued the engines on. I've cleaned up. That looks a bit rough because I sanded, CA glued the gaps, primed it, and I've sanded back that primer. That's why it looks a bit rough. I need to polish that up, and because I sanded that out, I had to rescribe. Let me grab my, so I use this one, the UMM scribe, and I just pre-handed that panel line back around. Oh, that's the way, stab it. So they're done. Basically I'll be painting the wings off and then putting them on after the fact, because you got that nice big recess in there, groove that will plug into, but there's a bit of a gap, so I'll probably have to bit of putty in it maybe when I glue it, and then come back in and touch it in again with the paint. Not ideal, I don't like, especially with metal, but anyway, it is what it is. So that's what I love about the B-24 is its wingspan. It's massive. It's the B-17's ugly sister, but I prefer the B-24 over the B-17. Looks wise, the tail, I did a bit of a dry fit there. It doesn't look brilliant. It pretty close, might have a bit of a gap on the where it plugs into the front of the fuselage, but that's no big deal. To just be same again. If there's gaps, I'll CA glue that, clean it up, and then just rescribe that in. So that, not much of a hassle. The rudders, stabilizers can only go one way. You can see the recess plugs in there, and the other side has a step in it, or a different groove, which can only go like that, so that you can't get them wrong, basically. Yeah, so coming together. Once I get that on, when I glue that on, I'm going to probably leave it sit at least a day or so to make sure it's set before I start coming in cleaning up the seam joins, because I don't want to be bumping things, because I've got those doors all glued in there, not that you see them, and I got the bottom one in. Maybe you can see that door, part of it. So they're painted aluminium, which will be the main colour, or probably all the colour. I might paint it, it'll be aluminium, aka extreme metal aluminium, but the control surfaces I'll probably do like, because these areas, I think, I may be wrong, if they were fabric, I might do them like dark aluminium, mask off and paint them separate so they show a bit of different colour, just to break it up a little bit, even though it's a uniform colour. Try and liven it up somewhat.